I'm racist, I'm sexist, I'm anti-gay, I hate dogs, Martians are dicks, and I'm all only about the money. I hate my fans. I hate people who subscribe to me. I don't give back. I'm not appreciative. I got an ego the size of Mount Rushmore.
If you've ever wondered what it looks like to build an entire 18-year career out of being phenomenally bad at video games, look no further than Phil Burnell, better known as DarkSydePhil.
See that great parkour he just did that I totally didn't want? All I want to do is climb this tree, and I can't. But I'm gonna have to fight everyone again. The parkour, they think they improved it. I actually think it's worse. I legitimately believe the parkour is worse.
He claims to be the valedictorian of both his elementary and high schools, a claim many have verified. But the way he acts on screen makes it very hard to believe. Since 2008, DSP has been the internet's favorite gaming lolcow, a creator who has stubbornly refused to improve his gameplay, evolve his content, or take a single shred of personal responsibility. Instead of adapting, he turned live streaming into a daily loop of aggressive begging, blaming game mechanics for his own failures, and fighting the very audience that pays his bills. From filing for bankruptcy while secretly dumping thousands into a mobile wrestling game, to surviving one of the most infamous camera-on disasters in internet history, DSP's career is a masterclass in failing upward through pure controversy. This is the full breakdown of the internet's most resilient, most frustrating, and most self-sabotaging gamer. Every lolcow has an origin story, and Phil's did not start on YouTube at all. It started in the arcades of Bridgeport, Connecticut, where a teenage Phil Burnell was grinding fighting games and picking fights. He first showed up in the fighting game scene under names like Phil Throw Like Hill, a nickname earned for spamming throw moves that other players considered cheap. His whole answer to being called cheap was to double down, once posting a threat so over the top that it read like a movie villain, bragging about what he would do if someone ever pulled a gun on him. Due to the constant trolling and backlash on some of his videos, he leaned into being hated, adopting the tag the King of Hate, and even the Dark Side name. He also loves to talk about his brain, claiming he was his high school's valedictorian. You'd think that since he did graduate with such high academic standing, he would be courted by many different colleges. However, that is not the case with him. In fact, he claimed that Yale, Harvard, and other Ivy League schools all rejected him purely because he was a white man.
Yale rejected me, Harvard rejected me. There were 3 of them. I can't even remember what the third one was, but every Ivy League school that I applied to said, no. When you want to know why they rejected me, it's this simple. Because I'm a white male.
The problem, as always with Phil, is that the story keeps changing. In the same breath, he flips between blaming his race and blaming the fact that he applied for financial aid. Another time he mentioned the fact that he was smart was when he was told to retake a test for his driver's license. He didn't accept the result, saying he knew he had got them all correct.
I took the whole book that they had given us. You know, stuff that you needed to know for the test, and I basically studied the shit out of it. They do the test, and I answer all the questions correctly based on the information that was in the book. And then they grade, oh, you failed the test. What do you mean I failed the test? You failed it miserably. Well, can I see it? Yeah, so here's your test. Here's all the answers you got wrong. And then I proceeded to say, no, the answers are right. Apparently your answer key's wrong. And the guy's like arguing with me. I said, all right, well, let's take an example of this question, right? And he says, okay, so here it is, and here's the answer. And I said, here's the book, and here's the answer right in the book that says what I picked, not what your key says. And he looks at it and he goes, well, I have to go by the key, so you failed and you have to take the test again.
His whole brand was that everyone hated him for talking so much online, but supposedly, no one could touch him because he could back it up in person. The second someone actually called his bluff, and the tough guy act evaporated, players from that era described Phil talking endless trash online, then turning white as a ghost the moment he was confronted at an event. One time, he owed a player in the street fighting game community named Jahal $10 from a money match he lost, refused to pay, and only coughed it up after Jahal and his friends followed him outside.
This happened twice, is because the guy likes to talk a lot on the internet. And the beauty of the fighting game community is that, you know, you can hide behind a screen and talk just like how we have these internet trolls. But with Street Fighter, you have to show up physically to the tournament.
Exactly.
You lost one match, you're gonna pay him $10 or $20 because that's the percentage of the matches that he would have lost. Which and you know, just scared him until he, you know, he paid the like $10 or whatever in white. And it's funny because he just like talks so much on the internet, but when you run into him in person, he's just, you know, turns white as a ghost.
Another example is his feud with the veteran player Viscant. Phil trashed to talk to him online for months, and when Viscant challenged him to a real fight, Phil actually agreed, drew up the paperwork, and arranged a referee. When narrating what happened, Viscant said, so first Phil was like, Okay, well you have to sign some document, because if I kill you, I don't. I want to be responsible, and I was like, whatever. Then there was an actual serious negotiation over who the ref was going to be, and I think we settled on Walter from CT, but I don't remember this part either. Then there was an honest-to-God negotiation over weight and that, and we were going to have to weigh in and everything. Again, I'm not making any of this up. As dumb as this sounds, this absolutely happened. Finally, it was agreed that he wouldn't have to go on a diet to fight me, and it was settled that we were going to fight. It was going to have MMA rules, it would have a referee, and we'd sign waivers. God, I was dumb in the mid-00s. Then once he learned Viscant genuinely knew how to fight, Phil backed out and suggested they just pretend to fight and do fake crotch chops to the crowd so it would look like a bit. Anyways, so we agreed upon this early in the year, and from here on is where the story gets weird. LOL gets weird. So apparently Phil was under the impression that this wasn't going to happen and that it was just internet shit talk, but a few people from the West Coast went out to one of the East Coast tournaments and told him that A, I was taking this seriously and was going to fight him. B, had probably been in more gym fights in the past 2 months than he'd been in his life. So one day Phil IMs me on AIM and tries to back out. He was like, hey, so how about this? How about we pretend like we're going to fight, and then when a whole crowd is around us, we both do DX crotch chops to the crowd. It'll be such a goof. This really happened. The early days of gaming were not entirely bad for him. Phil did have exactly one real competitive highlight, a 4th place finish at EVO 2005 in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which he has been talking about ever since. The catch is that 2005 was the year EVO controversially switched from arcade machines to a console version of the game, and many top players boycotted it in protest. So Phil's biggest career achievement, the thing he still brings up, came in a watered-down bracket that a lot of the best players did not even enter.
John, in 2005, I think it was, the 3 of you were absent from ST Top 8. What happened that year? You can defer that question if you'd like.
I think it was a combination of, I think it was the first console ST that we played on for a while, and we just kind of took it lightly, thinking that it's pretty much the same as arcade. So I really didn't get that version, go out of the way to get it and practice on it. And when we actually got there, it wasn't that different, but the minor differences were enough to throw us off. And yeah, I lost really fast, and then so did everybody.
It was probably on
else.
Turbo 3 or something, you know?
So yeah, it was just a little bit different than what we're used to. So.
He tried to turn that scene fame into his own projects, launching a website and a rival tournament called Impact, both of which flopped so hard that threads about how much he sucked got more attention than the events themselves. He did not stop there. A few years later, he moved to creating content on YouTube, posting a variety of content. He was primarily posting gaming content on Modern Warfare, Mega Man 10, Mass Effect 2, Splinter Cell, and so on. He was also reviewing movies. He did a short review of Iron Man 2 immediately after he got back from the cinema.
What's up, everyone? It's DSP. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I actually just got back from seeing Iron Man 2, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the movie while it was still fresh in my mind. I literally just walked in back from the movie theater. Usually I don't go to the movies a lot, just simply because the cost has gone up so much in the past couple of years. I mean, now you can't even see a movie for less than $10, and you can't buy a goddamn soda for less than $5, and it's pretty insane. So usually I don't go to the movies. I've been waiting a lot for stuff to go on demand on Xbox Live in HD, or buy it on Blu-ray if I really like it.
Inception is also one of the most popular movies he reviewed.
What's up, everyone? It's DSP, and a lot of people have actually asked me since the last time I did a movie review, which was Iron Man 2 a couple months back, why I didn't do it more often. You know, a lot of people said, gee, what do you think of this movie or that movie? Well, the truth is, since I saw Iron Man 2, I haven't gone to the movies to see another movie. Like I said in that first review, I really don't do that much because it's so expensive. I mean, just today, I went to see a movie. The movie is called Inception, and the ticket was like something like $11. It was insane. So that's why. But anyway.
He really was trying his hand at many different things. He also started a series on the channel, which he called The Hateful Truth, an 11-part series, where he reviewed video games. This is the pattern that would define the next 2 decades. Loud confidence in front of a screen, total collapse when reality pushes back, and one modest win replayed forever. It set the stage perfectly for what happened when Phil found a place where he never had to face anyone in person. If the arcades gave Phil a persona, YouTube gave him a business. And for a brief window, he was actually ahead of the curve. Starting in 2008, he uploaded dozens of raw, unedited playthroughs with loud, unfiltered commentary, at a time when almost nobody else was doing it. His method was almost comically low effort. He pointed a camera at his TV, stopped recording every few minutes to keep the files under YouTube's 10-minute limit, and uploaded them without editing. He was not shy about admitting how little work he put in. once bragging that he would never edit his videos and would just post them as is. When viewers begged him to use a capture card for better quality, Phil refused, insisting a capture card would force him to actually do voiceovers and editing. His crude commentary was part of the appeal and part of the problem. As early as 2011, he did a demo playthrough where he roleplayed as a Nazi making anti-Semitic jokes, which got him banned from the video site blip.tv.
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs. So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew.
There was another time when he uploaded a video saying it was the first time he was being honest, and in that video, he confessed to many egregious things.
I'm racist, I'm sexist, I'm anti-gay, I hate dogs, Martians are dicks, and I'm all only about the money. I hate my fans. I hate people who subscribe to me. I don't give back. I'm not appreciative. I got an ego the size of Mount Rushmore.
From all of these, it was clear that he would be a problematic streamer. His gaming ability was not just the problem. Even his personality was an issue. In the middle of all this, he was still earning, and then he made a fatal error. His money troubles online started early, too. He informed his viewers to click the ads on his vlog channel to help him out. YouTube suspended his AdSense account for invalid click activity.
Partner channel to King of Hate HD and click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, fingers crossed.
True to form, Phil rewrote history, claiming YouTube shut him down not because he broke the rules, but because they thought he was cheating due to how successful one of his videos was. For a while, none of this mattered because in 2010, his channel exploded, pulling in tens of millions of views a month.
A little bit of history lesson. I started on YouTube in 2008.
Yeah.
I started doing this for a living in 2011. And at one point, I was actually one of the bigger, not the biggest, but one of the bigger Let's Players on YouTube. Okay, I was getting 10 to 20 million views a month on my main channel at that time.
Okay.
His channel first blew up when he made a playthrough video of the video game Heavy Rain.
Get up, I got a lot to do today. Gotta call my mom, I gotta take out the trash. I'm going back to sleep, I'm tired. Alright, I'll get up. Come on.
He then lost his original DarkSydePhil channel to a fake copyright strike issued by a troll, an incident later confirmed to have involved an impersonator rather than the company itself. Undeterred, he rebuilt under the DSP gaming name and kept the money flowing, and he did exactly what you would expect from a man with no financial discipline. He bought a condo and started hoarding figurines by the truckload. His condo tours became legendary, each year showing more statues, more boxes, and less floor space, until the place looked like a hoarder's storage unit.
What's going on, everyone? It's DSP, and as promised, I've decided to do another condo tour. I actually moved into my condo in the summer of 2009, and at that point I did a condo tour when the whole condo was completely empty, okay?
In fact, he made the tour into a series and released 31 videos, just about his condo. By 2012, he was leasing a BMW, buying custom-made quilts that reportedly cost thousands, and treating himself to whatever caught his eye. Yet he bragged about how smart he was with money, calling himself a finance major who banked everything and never overspent, all while sitting in a condo buried in plastic. This was the high point, in the one stretch where Phil had momentum, money, and a real audience. But he was about to make the single dumbest career decision a content creator can make, deciding he was already perfect. The core of Phil's downfall is embarrassingly simple. He is genuinely, historically bad at video games, and he refuses to admit it. He plays like a man who has never enjoyed a single game in his life, sitting there miserable, snorting, and complaining that whatever he is playing is garbage. There was a moment in Grand Theft Auto where an NPC he was chasing literally stopped for gas, and Phil still could not catch up to him. When he went on a Ninja Warrior-style course in real life, he wiped out on the very first obstacle without making it more than a couple of steps.
Live stream to the starting line. Here comes Phil Burnell, gamer turned ninja hopeful. Timer said he is on course. First up the quintuple steps and right into the water. Not even 3 seconds in.
He is so bad that some people feel his play is intentional, and he genuinely does not want to enjoy the game. Another commenter on a TikTok post believed that even a blind person would do better. But here's another thing that makes people crazy. Whenever he loses, it is never his fault. When he fails, the game is awful, not him.
What am I playing this for? No, really. What am I playing this for?
Is it really
I don't
this
have to play
bad?
this. The game.
He blamed the parkour in Assassin's Creed, blamed the lockpicking in Oblivion for breaking his picks when he just spammed the button, and blamed Doom for being insta-kill garbage after charging into an obvious explosive barrel trap.
Direction before he would just go straight, because the parkour is too free-flowing in this game. I'm trying to sneak around and take people out you know, in assassin manner. Accidentally, because they've loosened up the parkour, you'll accidentally jump off a tree that you're trying to climb. You'll accidentally go too far in one direction that you don't really want to.
Fans built an entire meme out of one phrase he says constantly, "I did nothing wrong," repeating it even as he steps directly onto spikes and dies.
I did nothing wrong at all. This is my punishment for nothing. I did nothing wrong. Now I gotta go back again to try to do this again because it didn't work properly. I did nothing wrong.
The internet even joked that Phil is the reason modern games that paint ledges yellow, because developers apparently have to guide players this badly. His meltdowns became the real product. When a father with MS named Splice Helix beat him in Street Fighter, Phil called him a numbskull idiot who put no effort into gaming. Even funnier, Phil has publicly ranted that quitting a match early when you're about to lose is the most pathetic thing a player can do, then got caught rage quitting a Street Fighter match the second he started losing. He once rage quit the final boss of Persona 3, a game a fan had $1,000 to play, declaring it the worst boss fight in RPG history and refusing to finish. His superhuman ability to fail at simple tasks eventually went viral in 2024, when a clip of him playing Doom like a confused tourist racked up over 7 million views on Twitter. Instead of laughing along and cashing in, Phil responded to the whole internet by calling everyone who liked the clip a retard. The reason I'm playing like this is because the room is full of explosive barrels. I charged in head first to fight, and they blew up, leaving me with no HP. It's a trap meant to kill you. If you play it normally, you die. Everyone who liked this is retarded. The misery's not limited to games either. He once called his own parents straight up stupid for keeping his childhood toys so he could one day pass them to his own kids.
I still have all my childhood belongings at my parents' house. I don't know the extent of what they've kept and what they haven't. They told me, I know this sounds crazy, but listen to this. They told me many times over the years, oh, they kept all my kids' stuff in their attic just in case I have kids and I want to give it to my kids. And I want you to think about how crazy that sounds. What? Why, if I had kids, would I give my kids the stuff when I was a kid? I don't want my kid playing with He-Man figures from the 1980s. I don't want them using a stroller from the 1980s. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents are just stupid.
This is the exact instinct that turned a bad gamer into a lolcow, the total refusal to ever be in on the joke, and it created the perfect conditions for an entire army of critics to form around him. Phil did not become a lolcow because he was bad at games. He became one because he treated everyone who noticed him like an enemy. Around 2011, when viewers gave him basic advice, he clapped back and insulted them instead of listening. So in early 2013, a user named EvilAJ2010 uploaded a compilation of Phil's worst Metal Gear Solid moments and called it "This Is How You Don't Play." The video did around 1 million views, far more than Phil's own content, and it kicked off an entire genre of people archiving his failures. A smart creator would have embraced it. Phil, by his own admission years later, was too big-headed and stubborn, so instead he got angry, called it theft, and tried to flag it down.
So the original one, I believe, was Metal Gear Solid 2. And this video was just a montage of me sucking at the game. Every stupid thing I did, every mistake I made, every dumb piece of commentary I said, all thrown into one. It was a very entertaining video. People loved it. And it got like 1 million views on YouTube. So me being very stupid and big-headed back then.
Yes.
Did I respond positively and be like, wow, that's great. Maybe I should buy into this. Maybe I'll make my own videos razzing myself or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm an idiot. I'm a big-headed, stubborn idiot. And instead, I start, getting pissed at the guy. I start insulting him, saying he's stealing my content. He did that without my permission.
Aren't you doing that now? Weren't you just doing that now? Because the detractors, you're saying that they were re-uploading your content, and they're doing the same thing? Because you just said that, maybe 10 minutes ago.
You're right. And the difference is today, they're doing absolutely nothing transformative whatsoever.
Okay.
They are literally just stealing the content. And like that Raw Phil channel you just mentioned, all he does is rip my shit plain and just puts it on his channel.
Right.
He's not making a criticism. He's not reviewing my content. He's just fucking stealing it.
Okay.
That's the difference between today and back then.
The harder he fought it, the bigger it got, until searching his name on YouTube returned almost nothing but content from detractors, and his own channel became nearly impossible to find.
If anyone's watching this, hey, I just want to give the guy a look. Please actually watch the real channel, because then you'll actually see the content. It'll be nice, instead of just the detractors getting a rub.
Okay, all right. So basically, these detractors have completely taken over your YouTube algorithm, and now nobody actually watches you. Like, you're a well-known figure on the internet, but nobody actually watches you.
You're right. Right now, more people are watching the restreams of my stream than my stream.
Whole communities formed around documenting him, including a spreadsheet updated nearly every day and a forum with hundreds of thousands of posts. It is worth being fair here, because some of these people cross serious lines. Phil was swatted in 2015, a genuinely dangerous prank, and he had called the police ahead of time out of fear it would happen.
Before anything happens, I'm going to call the local police department, explain the situation, explain to them exactly who I am and what I do, and I'm going to let them know that their chances are someone's going to find out my address, and they're going to try something at some point. I don't know when, but it may happen. And incidentally, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to happen a year ago. I thought as soon as I moved here, I'd be here for a couple weeks and it would happen. But for whatever reason, this is the other thing, I have no effing reason to know what happened. I have no clue. Nothing in particular in my knowledge has happened anytime recently. I've had zero interactions with anyone that have really been.
Problem is that Phil used that real fear to smear every single critic as equally dangerous, blaming the whole community for the actions of a few, which only made more of them turn on him. He also brought a lot of the copyright chaos on himself. Detractors used fan art in his videos to hit him with false strikes, which forced him to delete hundreds of videos and tanked his views. But Phil had already spent years abusing that same copyright system to strike his own critics, so when it happened to him, the sympathy was thin. The detractors were the storm, but Phil was the low-pressure system that created it, and nothing fed that storm more than watching his real life fall apart one bad decision at a time. Phil's collapse was never just about gameplay. It was about a personality that burned every bridge it crossed, and the clearest example is how he treated the people closest to him. For years, his best friend was John Rambo, a genuinely likable presence whose humor his audience loved. Naturally, Phil could not handle that, and once claimed he had written all of Rambo's funniest lines himself. Their friendship really cracked over a failed project called Project 7, a story in which Phil's gaming talent is stolen, and he has to travel through 7 worlds to get it back. The heavy lifting was done by 2 friends, Paul and Andre, who edited it for free, just hoping for a shout-out that never helped their channel. When they wanted a small cut of the money, Rambo suggested Phil just pay them. Phil claimed he had already offered and been turned down, which turned out to be a flat lie. Phil would later brag that Project 7 lost him money because of a $300 prop, all while ignoring the mountain of figurines and the BMW he was buying at the same time. Years later, in 2015, he still tried to use Project 7 to milk his Patreon, promising to reboot the series if fans hit a funding goal, then quietly never delivering. His romantic life followed the same script. In 2012, he introduced his girlfriend, Panda Lee, an 18-year-old he met through YouTube's old messaging system. Trolls spread rumors that they had started dating when she was underage, but it should be said plainly that those claims were never substantiated, and no evidence was ever produced. The relationship itself was chaotic, full of on-stream arguments, with Phil banning his own viewers whenever they clashed with her. By 2017, the cracks were public. Panda Lee started wearing a fake engagement ring to work and posting about it online, a jab at how long Phil was dragging his feet. They got engaged that April, then broke up a month later, and Phil's most memorable reaction was complaining that the hardest part was now having to cook and clean for himself. Back in 2015, Rambo had also finally had enough and released a long podcast detailing his falling out with Phil, ending with an offer that a single phone call could fix everything. Phil never called. With his best friend gone, his relationship crumbling, and his views sliding, Phil was running out of people to blame and money to burn. Then he made a moment that the internet would never, ever let him live down. Some internet moments fade. This one became Phil's permanent second name. In 2015, while getting ready for a stream, Phil forgot his camera was already rolling and was caught playing himself in front of the audience. The clip spread instantly, and drama channels like Keemstar's Drama Alert made sure the whole internet saw it. What makes it so Phil is his reaction. He picks up the camera and notices it has been on the whole time, and simply carries on with the stream as if nothing happened. He even tried to claim afterwards that he was just scratching his leg, an excuse nobody on Earth believed. Some years later again, he confessed that it did happen, and no, he was not scratching his legs.
I'm sorry, what do you want me to tell you? It didn't happen? It did! It did happen!
Then when Asmongold brought it up directly, Phil clarified he was streaming on YouTube at the time, not Twitch, and faced no ban for it.
Okay, so whenever you went on stream and you accidentally got caught jerking off, you got suspended by Twitch, right?
No.
What?
I was not streaming on Twitch. I was streaming on YouTube.
So you weren't streaming on Twitch when that happened?
No. I was actually not a Twitch streamer at that time. I was only streaming on YouTube, and nothing happened at all. I had zero repercussions for it because there was no nudity, there was no sound. It was just my O-face, basically.
It remains one of the most widely publicized moments of his entire career, right up there with the bankruptcy. Several articles have been written on it, including this one by Spark magazine. That single moment turned him from a niche gaming lolcow into someone the entire internet recognized. But recognition is not income, and behind the memes, Phil's finances were quietly turning into a catastrophe. By 2014, a smart person in Phil's position, with declining views and rising debt, would have cut costs. Phil did the opposite and bought a brand new condo in Washington across the entire country for around $265,000. He justified the cross-country move by pointing to Seattle's tech sector, despite having no relevant skills and no real plan. Almost immediately he admitted he was in trouble, telling his audience that recent months had been slow and that he needed a little help.
Guys, if you are watching Suikoden 2, please support the stream. Can we get to halfway to the goal at least? We're at, 66? Guys, get us to 75 right now, please. Can we get, one tip, a super chat, a gifted sub, something to get us?
Behind the scenes, it was far worse. He was paying only the minimum on his old Connecticut condo, and had reportedly emptied his savings to finance the move. At the same time, detractors caught him bragging on a mobile game forum about spending around $200 in a single sitting on WWE Supercard, a wrestling gacha game. He also bought 3 separate capture cards in 1 week to test them, then a $3,000 pre-built PC, all while claiming poverty. His refusal to edit finally caught up with him. As newer creators improved their quality, Phil insisted he was a gamer, not a video editor, and watched his audience leave. By 2017, his network Machinima cut him loose, and Phil responded with a nearly 2-hour video that somehow never actually explained what happened. This is a recurring Phil trick. Any controversy that could be answered in one clear sentence gets buried under a rambling, multi-hour monologue that no reasonable person will ever finish. The debt kept climbing, the taxes kept stacking, and Phil kept spending. There was only one place this could end, and in 2020, he finally got there. In 2020, after more than a decade of pulling in serious money, Phil filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He framed it, of course, as something the trolls did to him. This one is not a detractor rumor. Public court records confirm Philip P. Burnell filed Chapter 7 in the Western District of Washington, case number 20-10323, on January 31st, 2020. The bankruptcy documents told a stunning story. His unsecured debts, spread across more than a dozen credit cards and loans, totaled roughly $131,500, and tons of YouTube videos detail how he came to accumulate such debt. Court filings also show he reaffirmed a mortgage of around $227,974 on top of the taxes and other debts he was carrying. Add in a reported IRS bill of around $115,000, and the total hole was pushing toward $500,000. Since his finances were beyond his control and his debt kept piling up, he had to go see a bankruptcy lawyer.
What ended up happening was I saw a bankruptcy lawyer.
During his bankruptcy proceedings and daily streams, Phil routinely begged his chat for money to cover basic bills and taxes. The obvious question was how a man who begged for grocery money every day fell this far into debt. And the answer, detractors argued, was a Candy Crush-style wrestling game called WWE Champions. There was an account climbing the game's leaderboards, They Call Me DSP, later renamed Down from the Rafters, that could only have gotten so high through thousands of dollars in microtransactions. However, recent receipts have surfaced showing that an account linked to DSP on WWE Champions had spent tens of thousands of dollars on the game. The account was called They Call Me DSP, but then changed to Down from the Rafters after fans started their trolling. Despite his previous denials of spending $40,000 and his claims that he couldn't pay his bills or taxes, leading to him asking his fans for financial help during live streams, the evidence tells a different story. The revelations have sparked widespread ridicule across the internet. Dozens of YouTubers within the gaming community have since released videos discussing DSP's excessive spending on WWE Champions. He has recently admitted that he still plays the game, but he has continued to deny how much he's spending, claiming that he hasn't spent more than $1,000 on the game over the years. DarkSydePhil has built a reputation as a YouTuber and content creator, known for his struggles in video games and his defensive reactions to in-game failures. Though he claims to be a former to professional fighting game player, his performances in games like Dark Souls and various fighting titles have often been lackluster, drawing attention for all the wrong reasons. What separates DSP from other players isn't just his skill level, but his tendency to blame external factors. such as game mechanics or faulty equipment when things don't go his way. This habit has earned him a reputation for being salty. Additionally, his personal life has frequently been scrutinized, adding another layer to his complicated online persona. For years, Phil flatly denied that the account was his, even as investigators linked his public phone number to it via the Line messaging app. A player named TJ Gamebox tracked the account for months and noticed it was only ever active when Phil was offline, and went quiet the moment Phil started streaming. Phil's only response to all of it was to insist the evidence was somehow fake, leaning on his own thin credibility to wave it away. Then in the Asmongold interview, Phil finally admitted the whole thing. He confirmed the account was his, that he had lied about it for years, and guessed he had spent somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 on it.
Too much money in the early days. It was more like 2-3 years in that they changed it, and then all of a sudden you could start spending a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
And it was about a year and a half that I really spent too much. Yeah, I mean, I would say this. I definitely spent, no exaggeration, I probably spent $10,000 on that game. Yes.
$20,000.
That's a maybe.
$25,000.
Probably not.
$30,000.
Definitely not.
Definitely. Okay. All right. So it's between probably $15,000 and $25,000. Does that sound pretty accurate? Okay.
That higher figure comes from detractors who, after accessing his bank statements, an act the community itself admits was identity theft, claimed he spent around $44,000 on microtransactions in just 18 months. Those same leaked statements suggested he was spending hundreds of dollars a month on food delivery, and in 1 month alone, around $250 on alcohol. The math is what makes it so damning. This is a man who told his audience he might lose his house while dropping thousands on a phone game and denying he even played it. He even got caught red-handed in 2022 when he accidentally left his phone on his desk mid-stream, showing the WWE Champions menu on a game he swore he had quit years ago. When he finally confessed everything in a 2023 interview in a follow-up stream, he still could not do it cleanly, admitting he had lied for years, while insisting he had already sold the account and could not prove any of it.
Everything that I said in that segment on stream was a lie. Literally every time someone asked me about WWE Champions, I lied. Every single time. Because to me, my personal spending, things I was doing off stream, was no one's business. Okay? And every time someone brought it up, I'm like, this is so stupid. This is dumb. You know what I'm saying? And I just lied to get it out of the way. And I tried so hard for so long to lie about it, to get people to just forget about it. But I forgot, well, not really forgot, but I definitely underestimated the anal nature of these people who stalk me.
WWE Champion was not the only problem he had. A YouTuber released a documentary about how he gambled away $100,000 in donations. His bankruptcy hearing, which detractors hoped would expose everything, ended with the judge discharging his debts and Phil walking away clean. So the bills got wiped, the game addiction stayed, and the spending never really stopped. This left Phil needing a reliable daily source of income. And he had one, his own audience. Here's the part that turned casual viewers into full detractors. Phil does not just accept donations, he demands them, guilts people for them, and berates his audience when they do not deliver.
Now, by the end of the stream, if you can believe it, we got $139 of support. Oh, well, was there a last-minute rallying? No, we had that for over an hour. So basically the entire last hour of the stream, no one contributed, so we didn't get to the second milestone, which would have been 2 packs of cards to be open. I said to everyone, listen, I do a show now called DSP Pack Rips. I can't just do 1 pack. That would be like, 3 minutes. That's not enough for a video. What I need to do is have multiple packs saved up so we can do this show. So I was telling everyone the final hour, if we just get, 10 more bucks, or what was it, 11 more bucks, we'll have the second pack rip. The show will be good.
He runs a tip goal of around $150 per stream twice a day, and when it is not met, he throws a tantrum directed at the very people funding him. He once furiously lectured his audience that their failure to hit a funding milestone ruined the pacing of his card opening show. His most famous gimmick was the vest streak. If a stream hit a tip goal, Phil would put on a vest, and the running joke was that, unlike other streamers, you paid Phil to put clothes on.
How much money was it? What kind of hat was it? Was the chat able to decide it? How does a hat goal work?
I had tiered rewards for a few years there. I'd say 3-4 years almost.
Yeah.
Where every stream I would have, like, if I hit a certain threshold of support, I would put on a hat of your choice. I would put on a vest of your choice. The vest was a big one.
Oh, okay.
For a long time, I was hitting a goal and I would put on a vest, and people freaked out because I had like 10 different vests that I would put on during the stream. The running joke was, when you go tune into one of these booby streamers, right? You give them money and they're gonna take clothes off. They're gonna jump in a hot tub. Well, DSP does it the other way. You give me money, I'm gonna put shit on.
Okay, all right, I like that. Sounds good, makes sense.
The streak lasted an incredible 276 days before it finally died, at which point Phil, who had made tens of thousands of dollars off it, was openly bitter about its end. The pattern is always the same. Even after making over $1,000 in a single day, he comes back the next day acting as if he will go broke if the goal is not met. He guilt trips constantly, once telling his audience he and his wife were hungry downstairs, but he would not let her order food until the tip goal was hit.
The bottom line is I need to eat tomorrow, all right? So there you go. That's why I'm bringing it up on my stream.
He even said that he will continue to beg because people come to his channel to watch and he has to make money.
And yes, I am going to make money. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're gonna like it. Because I'm successful and you're not. Because success doesn't mean you steal success from someone else. It means you make it for yourself, which is what I have always done and you could never do because you don't have talent. Get it? Anyone who relies on me to make their content has no talent.
The begging reached its most organized form with his tax marathons, all-day streams built specifically to raise money for the federal tax bill he had let pile up.
I owed the state over $5,000. I owed my tax attorney over $5,000. All of that money that was phantom money that I didn't have got charged to my credit cards and completely and utterly maxed out any remaining credit that I had.
He swore every dollar raised went straight to taxes, then admitted the same day that some of it actually went to his monthly bills, and then claimed he misspoke. The excuse for the tax mess, as always, was that he simply did not understand how the system worked, even after paying an accountant thousands to handle it. A tracker even counted his begging over the course of a single month, and put the total at over 3,000 separate asks across just 43 videos. Phil's own defense is that this is simply how the formula works, and that his real fans do not mind, even though he admits a full day without asking earned him only about $30.
I think it's funny.
They want you. Do you think that they want you to do it?
Do they want me to ask for contributions actively?
Yes.
No.
Oh. Okay.
But they want me to succeed.
Okay.
They want me to be successful. For example, there was a day I actually tested it out. Not once did I ask for a contribution during an entire day.
So you went a whole day without asking for money?
Yes. I made $30.
Well, what's the average that you made? Well, okay, that's fine. But like, what's the average though? Like,
I would say each stream. Oh wait. What's the average that I try to make a stream?
Yeah.
Or what's the average?
What's the average a
every
day?
Stream,
yeah, a day.
I have a goal.
Each
Each stream that I do, I have a goal of $150, and I stream twice a day.
And when a viewer donates but then dares to criticize him, Phil still bans them, then acts shocked when they charge the money back. The begging never stops, and neither does the spending, and neither does the anger, all of which set up the single biggest interview of his career, the one time a massive outsider sat him down and asked him everything directly. For years, Phil only agreed to interviews with people who did not know his history, so when massive streamer Asmongold sat him down for a wide-open conversation, it was a genuine event. Asmongold's whole approach was to talk to Phil like a normal person, and the surprising thing is how much Phil actually admitted when treated fairly.
Stuff to me and my family, and not just me. I'm talking anyone who's considered a lolcow on the internet or whatever. Yes. The extent that these people go, they don't understand that, okay, this is all a joke. Let's make fun of them. Let's make some money on it. Listen, that goes hand in hand. I get that. But if then you're going to try to go out of your way to get me to lose my livelihood completely, you're actually going to try to harass people in real life, to try to stalk people in real life. That's when it gets crazy.
So
that's when you.
It's kind of like It's kind of like professional wrestling, right? Where it's like some people like they understand that it's kind of a joke and it's for fun, and you know, like there's like tongue-in-cheek humor to it. But there's some people that take it too far.
I would agree with that statement. Yes.
And while we're on the topic of wrestling, there has been.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. Preface it.
I just want.
Go ahead.
I'm not. Oh no, I'm not going to preface it. Actually, I want to say something different.
He owned the early years completely, admitting that around 2011 he got a huge ego, thought his content was the best, and responded to all criticism by clapping back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. I was going to say there's no way that I'm going to say it's never my fault or it's not my fault. This all started back in around 2011 and 2012.
All right.
Okay, so for a little bit of history lesson, I started on YouTube in 2008.
Yeah.
I started doing this for a living in 2011. And at one point, I was actually one of the bigger, not the biggest, but one of the bigger Let's Players on YouTube. Okay, I was getting 10 to 20 million views a month on my main channel at that time.
Okay.
And what happened was I thought I got too big in my own head. I got a big ego. Okay, I thought my shit didn't stink. My content's the best.
Yeah.
Right. It's the best playthroughs out there, and people started to throw me criticism and like, Phil, dude, it's 2011. You're not even doing direct capture. You're using a camera to record your TV. What are you, stupid? Like, you're making money. Why don't you go get a capture device? Why don't you do this and do that to improve it?
He drew his usual line between ordinary trolls and dedicated detractors, the people he says are committed to his downfall and profit from restreaming his content.
I'm gonna be honest. So, like, do you think that you were a victim of cancel culture?
I was a victim of a group of people on the internet who really don't like me taking advantage of cancel culture.
Well,
that's what it was, because
okay.
Twitch didn't give a shit.
I think
Twitch
that's kind of based. It is. I mean, now, I mean, things have changed a lot since then. 2021 was a different universe, as I'm sure that you know. But, so you're talking about, I know that some of my viewers might not be familiar with this. You're talking about this term detractors. Can you expand on that?
So, there's a difference between an internet troll and a detractor. Okay, an internet troll, just someone who, like, wants to make fun of you, razz you every once in a while, you know. A detractor is someone who is, like, absolutely dedicated to your downfall.
Okay.
Someone who spends untold amounts of time watching and stalking your content, trying to nitpick, trying to find flaws in your character, so that then they can highlight them.
He framed his 2021 Twitch removal as being a victim of cancel culture, blaming detractors for digging up decade-old racial and Nazi jokes and mailing them to his sponsors.
For a while.
Why'd you stop?
And, well, I stopped in 2021 because my detractors in 2021 actually put together this package of stuff that was like clips of me from over a decade before. So when I started, you know, I've been streaming since 2008. Okay, well, not streaming, excuse me. I've been a YouTuber since 2008. And back then, it was the Wild West, and everyone said and did whatever they wanted to try to get like shock value out of the audience. You know, back then my audience was all teenagers, so I'm doing like over-the-top dialogue about women's in the video game all the time, and I'm doing racial commentary, like racial jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did that a couple days ago.
Well, there you go. See, I did it 15 years ago.
He also aired a real ideological problem with Twitch, complaining about uneven moderation and the platform drifting away from gaming, which is why he now streams on YouTube and Kick instead. The most revealing exchange was about the beginning. Asmongold pressed him on whether all the money asking might actually drive viewers away, and Phil simply could not accept that his own behavior was the problem. His logic was circular. He argued that if he stopped begging, the detractors would just find something new to mock, so there was no point in stopping. He even admitted the core truth out loud, that he does not actually track his own finances, saying it would be ridiculous to check what he makes every day. What you will notice mostly is that he puts whatever he does on his dictators, whether it was his begging, his finances, or the WWE Champions controversies. He believed there was no point in stopping what he was doing, since his detractors would just find another fault. He is basically saying that there is no point in improving himself, his content, or his personality, all because of what others will say about him. For a moment, it looked like a turning point, a chance to be a self-aware lolcow instead of an angry one, and true to form, within months, Phil was right back to raging at Reddit and banning his own audience over pocket change. What makes Phil different from a normal failed creator is that he genuinely believes he was a force for good that the internet destroyed out of jealousy. In late 2024, he ranted that before the memes, he used to make videos that actually helped people. He now calls his detractors brain-dead cows and pathetic excuses for humans, insisting that by mocking him, they robbed the world of the great things he would have done.
It's a sign of people who are basically losers and brain, and they need to feel like they're a part of something because they're so isolated from reality and anything important in life. So that's really what it is. Personally, I don't care if you call me Dave or not. An idiot who has to be a naysayer to everything that I say. So how about this? If you want to come to my stream and be disrespectful and try to contradict everything I say, you're a f***ing mouth-drooling moron, and I'll call you whatever the and you'll like it, bitch. How about that?
His attempts to stay relevant now mostly involve trying to start beef, whether it is a slow-burning Cold War with low-tier God, or replying, "Who the hell is that?" to a viral tweet about him and pirate software. Even his recent redemption moments fall apart fast. After warmer interviews with Wings of Redemption, Asmongold introduced him to new fans, and he immediately went back to telling Reddit users they were losers who should get bent. His latest obsession is the belief that his channel is being view-botted to make him look fake, which he blames on detractors trying to hide how successful he now is. The more likely explanation, that his inflated viewer count comes with a dead chat because those viewers are only there to clip him, never seems to occur to him. When his biggest restreamer finally got banned from YouTube, Phil took a victory lap about a tiny bump in viewers. ignoring that those viewers simply migrated to watch the restreams on other platforms. He even helpfully told his audience which platforms the restreamer had moved to, essentially advertising the alternative to watching him. Through all of it, Phil's real audience has shrunk down to a small group of the most dedicated fans and the most obsessive detractors. Two crowds locked around a man who cannot let either one go. That is why his YouTube viewer count is very low. That is where Phil lives now, in the eye of a storm he helped create, streaming every single day to a chat that is either mocking him or draining his bank account. And somehow, against all logic, he is still standing. He is the rare creator who built a lifelong career not by being loved, but by being relentlessly mocked, and then leaning into the outrage that mockery generates. His stubborn refusal to learn basic mechanics, combined with his entitlement and his explosive temper, created a self-sustaining economy of people who watched just to see him fail. For nearly 2 decades, he has blamed the game, the developers, his parents, his network, Twitch, and his detractors for problems that were almost entirely his own making. And that, in the end, is the whole point of DarkSydePhil. He is living proof that on the internet you do not have to be good to survive. You just have to be willing to let the world watch you fail every single day, forever.